Hey everybody, Paul Sham here. Quick update on the Victory Garden. Been about another week, and I have not mowed the grass. As you can see, they definitely outpaced the grass now. We're doing pretty good here. Our cucumbers definitely in flower now. Not really sure what that means with cucumbers, but I believe that means we're going to get a few. He's spilling it out onto the ground, which is what it wants to do. Up and over stuff, I guess, is what it has to do. So this pot's working out perfect. And we can still move it around as long as we're careful. So I haven't, that's all just happened in the last week. Remember, been following along. My pepper, it was yellowed out at first, is really recovering strong and starting to take off now. It's still having little problems. It's not quite big enough to take advantage of the cage I got it in. But it's catching up there. The sweet pepper that I have is definitely doing great, and I'm thinking I might need to do some pruning on that. I got to look into that. I haven't really researched the peppers much. Potato, look at that. Remember those two little green shoots we saw? Well, they've turned into a whole bunch of green shoots. Obviously you don't eat these, but hopefully it's growing some potatoes underneath there for us. And we get back to the tomatoes. These are the smallest ones that were all yellowed out a couple weeks ago. They have really come back pretty strong compared to what they were. And I've gone through these two pots and done a pretty good job pruning them, cutting the sucker leaves off. It's a lot like a cannabis plant, actually. And you get these leaves down here that don't do much. And when they come out, this actually probably should have been cut off last week, as these are the sucker leaves. I'm gonna do it. I don't really think the bottom ones are gonna get much anyway. I should have cut those off though, because anytime you see anything like that, and these are nice and clean, by the way. I just cleaned these old half-broken Vivo Sun hand trimmers with some alcohol. But you can see where I've cut all these suckers off of this one. This one is just exploded. And we actually have flowers on these already, which is what you need to pollinate the plant so that it will grow tomatoes. These were also small when we started, and they have really taken off. I'm not sure what kind of tomatoes these are, but I've been keeping them separated in the cage with some pieces of 14 gauge copper wire, which you can use whatever. They have twist ties or whatever for this. Keep them loose so that thing can grow. I like the copper wire because slugs don't like copper, and a lot of slugs around here, so in order to keep them off the plants, we're gonna go with that method. And some more flowers on these. And like I said, these are really recovering pretty well. We did a decent job trimming them up, I think, the other day, and I've done nothing with these big ones until today. They just been growing wild. There's two of these in each pot because it's the way they came in the solo cups, and I really could not separate them, so I didn't bother. I have not done a good job keeping these trimmed at all, so we're gonna go through this a little bit and cut these suckers off.
What you doing, sucker?
All these things that come up in the crotch like that, especially down low. You know, up high maybe it's not as much of a big deal, because I'm not sure they might get enough sun to actually grow something. But you know, I like to try to pull these things out so they're on the outside if I can, so that we can actually get to these things. And just like other plants we grow, I think you want to clean up the bottoms of these. You're not going to be having tomatoes growing in the dirt, and probably keeps the bugs off them. A little better than if you don't. So I recommend lollipopping the tomatoes just to keep them cleaned out. And I will reiterate that I'm not a tomato expert. There's a big old sucker right there. It seems to have turned into a regular branch, so we might let that one live, actually. This is the one going down. It's going to be cut off anyway, if it's that low. See, things can just be pulled off. Try not to stab your plant too much. Do it right, as I've been taught in some other pretty good YouTube videos. We'll see what happens with that one. That'll be the test. We'll pull these out, so we're not having to reach inside to get the tomatoes when we're done. And this thing, that's coming off because it's too far down there in the plant. Continue cleaning these up and show you when we're done. Alright, so we got this one cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Be a couple pieces left in there, just like in the cannabis plants. You want to get anything out of there that bugs would want to eat or live in. And I think it came out pretty good. Got the bottom cleaned up real nice. All the sucker leaves cleaned off. Gives it a little room to breathe. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Pull out the main stems, try to get them not only pulled out where they can be, you know, seen, but also supported a little bit, because hopefully they'll have some tomatoes on them soon. And we're just going to go in and chop these little suckers off.
Damage that sucker with this.
Probably using a little better technique than that one's kind of tough. Didn't want to come use a little bit more mature than some of the other ones. But even these big ones, I'm taking them off. They're not supposed to be there, and they are going to slow down growth. They should have come off a long time ago, or at least a few days ago. They were growing pretty fast, in my defense. That way, these would grow correctly. But they'll be fine. Well, let's be serious.
Sucker, 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 sucker.
I'm going to cut these bottom ones off because I don't want there to be a bunch of material sitting in the pot. Easier to keep it cleaned out. Hopefully free of pests. Getting there. So the bottom is just about good. If I can get this one to come up, maybe it can live. So that it's not sitting in a pot. This one is already over the edge, so that's good. We'll leave that one. And there's a big sucker. I suggest getting sharper scissors. I thought these were good enough, but they obviously aren't. We're going to get it done, though. I'm not taking the top ones off because I want them to grow. I'm going to weave that one in. Yeah. I'm not sure how that affects how the tops grow. But seems to. Sometimes you can just pull them off too. And this one's way over here. Let's get that out of the pot. And cut the sucker off. So now these are supported. They're out where they can get some sun. We've got all the little sucker leaves cut off. This one might not make it either. We'll see. It might end up being able to be pulled over the top eventually, but it may come off too. I think I got them all. Yep. And it's cleaned out nicely. So that should do it for the tomatoes. And they're gonna look a lot neater now. So I might still take that off. I don't really like this bottom one. Or that bottom one. Just direct the energy up. And keep that bottom clean. Always clean your bottoms. Alright. Well, next time you see this, we will get the lawn mowed. And I bet they'll even be bigger. We might even have some tomatoes on these ones over here that have flowers. We'll see. Oh. A little buddy, Chippy. Hey, Chippy. Left him some treats. Hanging out with my dog. And my cat.
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
All right. I'm gonna give these some water. And we'll see you next week. Always hammer out.
I love it when a plan comes together.